அரோமானே.
And when I joined the Indian Police Service training, the training was very tough. I used to be very obese those days. Apart from that, I used to smoke a lot. And my daughter, she said that, Dad, you smell of tobacco, Dad, and I can't stand it. So I stopped smoking and I started running. Tamil Nadu Police is one of the finest police forces in the country. The fact that the law and order in Tamil Nadu is the best in the entire country if you look at. People feel very safe here. Tamil Nadu is one of the most developed states in the country. The government also is very supportive of the police, and then they help the police. They don't interfere in the police of matters, and then they let the police to function independently. One of the important thing is to get those idols back, which have gone out of the country, which have been stolen. We have recently brought back about 12 idols, 8 idols from USA, 4 idols from Australia. Most of the police people are warm, they want to help the public. But then there are black sheep in every organization, not just the police. You take any department, but because of 1 or 2 bad examples, the entire police force is maligned and then they get a bad image and bad name. Like civil service examination is not an exam that is not one exam. There are several exams. You have to go through 3 levels. One is the preliminary level. And even to prepare for the preliminary level, you have to prepare at least for 6 months properly. I joined the Indian Police Service in the year 1991. My first posting as Assistant Superintendent of Police was in Madurai district. From then on, I have served in several districts. I was SP in Tanjavur for 4 years. I was SP in Trichy, DIG and Commissioner of Police, Tirunelveli City. I was DIG Madurai. I went on deputation to central government. I worked in the paramilitary force called the Central Industrial Security Force. I had a fairly long tenure there of about 7 years. And after that, I came back to the cadre in 2015 and I was promoted as ADGP. As ADGP, I have held several important assignments. I was ADG Traffic, I was ADG Crime Branch CID, I was ADG Law and Order 2 times, and I was Director of Vigilance and Anti-Corruption on 2 occasions. After that, I also served as the Additional Director General of Police, Armed Police, before I took up this assignment as Idle Wing CID DG. My parents have been the first inspiration as far as they're concerned, because they inculcated in me a lot of values, and then they told me stories about the leaders, and they told me stories from mythology. And later on, I read a lot of books, and those books have inspired me a lot, a great deal. And apart from that, I've also been inspired by Swami Vivekananda. I used to go to Ramakrishna Math. I used to hear discourses of Swami Ranganathananda when I was in Hyderabad. And so these are the things which shaped my life and then which have brought me here. So I was a very sedentary person when I joined the Indian Police Service. And when I joined the Indian Police Service training, the training was very tough. The grind was so hard that, I had second thoughts of continuing with the training. I used to be very obese those days. Apart from that, I used to smoke a lot. I was a chronic smoker. I had a very difficult time there. Then I realized that I'm in a very bad condition, so I can't continue to live. Leading a sedentary life and then smoking cigarettes, and I had to immerse myself in the training. And after that, after I immersed myself in the training, then when I came back to the cadre, when I was posted here, after marriage, I again kind of slackened a lot. I stopped exercising, and then once again I became extremely obese. And then I developed blood pressure because I had the smoking habit as well. I had again commenced smoking again. And my daughter, she said that, Dad, she refused to come near me because she said, you smell of tobacco, Dad, and I can't stand it. So I had to, for my daughter, I had to kick the habit of smoking. And so I stopped smoking and I started running. And I started loving running. And so After that, initially I used to run just for the heck of it every day, just to keep myself fit. And after that, I developed interest in running marathons and all that, because my daughters are, both of them are into swimming, and they would do a lot of running as well. So I started running along with them. Both my daughters, we together ran the first marathon in 2010. And got addicted to the sport of running, and then I've been running since then. So I've run several marathons. I've done more than 40 marathons, full marathons and half marathons. I've written 42 Mondays was my first book. It got published in 2019 when I was Additional Director General of Police Law and Order. It was basically an anthology. I write a column. I used to write a column for the Deccan Chronicle. Then later on, I started writing for the Dinathan Next. I had a column going there. So I had a huge collection of articles, and most of them were technology related articles. So I thought, put all the technology related articles in the form of a book. So my first book was self-published. It was 42 Mondays, because 42 weeks, whatever articles I contributed in the first 42 weeks when I started writing the column, that formed the book, the entire book. So that was my first book, and now I have two more books are ready to roll out. One is the book called Enkindling the Endorphins of Endurance. The other book which is rolling out is called The Soliloquies of Future Policing. So now you see technology is growing exponentially. There are a lot of important breakthroughs which are happening in the field of technology. The police are adopting technology. Now, one of the reasons you see, everybody feels the police is doing a good job these days is because the two things are helping the police detect cases. The recent murder case in Chennai, if you see, and then most of the cases, if you see, which are they're all detected because of two things. One is the CCTV, and the other is the mobile phones. The mobile phone records and the mobile phone things. So they give away a lot. So these are helping the police. So, and then there are several new technologies which are coming. The police are adopting that as well. Like we have drones now. Tamil Nadu police are acquiring new drones, which are advanced drones. Now we are also trying to bring in, I brought virtual reality and augmented reality after I joined Idlewing CID. We decided that, because these idols are there, and we decided to do something. So I collaborated with the Indian Institute of Technology. And then we used the virtual reality and augmented reality cameras. And then we took the pictures of the idols which we have in our possession, which we had seized. And these we have also built that into a virtual museum. And now that virtual museum, the IIT professor Manivandan, he called me and he said that Mark Zuckerberg, Facebook, he wants to, he's building the metaverse. We all know the metaverse. He's called his company Meta, and he's building a metaverse. So he wants some proposals for the metaverse. So he asked me whether he could send a proposal, and if I can, we could do something about that. So he sent me a rough draft, which I added things to that, and I've sent it back to him. So we will be going shortly into the metaverse space as well. So we'll be having a virtual museum which is in the metaverse, and the web address for that is www.tnidols.com. We have about 400 idols in there, but we are going to eventually expand that and bring in more idols, more than 1,000 idols in the next couple of months. And then we're trying to work with the government and then see that all the antique idols are part of the virtual museum. So this is what we are doing. And then we are also trying to use artificial intelligence, because most of these idols, there are a lot of idols which are antique idols. Sometimes what happens is we recover idols, we don't know whether the idol is an antique idol, and we don't know the period to which the idol belongs. So we are training our algorithms, because every period idol or a sculpture has got certain characteristics. So we are identifying those characteristics, and we're trying to build algorithms so that we can identify an idol, whether it's an antique or non-antique, and also place that in a period. To which period? Does it belong to the Chola period? Does it belong to Pandyan period? Or does it belong to Chera period? So that would also be possible. So this is what we have done as far as technology is concerned. Besides that, there are a lot I can talk about when it comes to technology. my book, they say Soliloquies and Indian Police and Future Policing, has got different types of technologies, and all the latest technologies which are trying to break out, which have not yet emerged on the scene, which are trying to break out. And I have looked at it and have tried to see how a particular technology can be used for the purpose of policing. Tamil Nadu Police is one of the finest police forces in the country. Fact that the law and order in Tamil Nadu is the best in the entire country, if you look at, people feel very safe here. Tamil Nadu is one of the most developed states in the country. You look at the industrial development, there's been tremendous amount of industrial development and a lot of companies, multinational companies are coming into Tamil Nadu and they want to set up their plants here merely because the law and order climate in the state is extremely good. We are in fact comparable with the Scotland Yard police. And if you look at a lot of people in UK, they complain that the police here is better because we have a detection and recovery rate which is somewhere around 80%, 90%. Most of the districts, they detect property cases, offences and all that, 80 to 90% detection is there. But if you look at the UK, most of the crime cases don't get detected there. And one of the reasons is because the police don't go so deep into the investigation and don't take all the trouble to detect the cases is because they have insurance. So they said let them get insurance. So that kind of a thing. But here, because we don't have insurance and because all the officers who register FIRs are questioned during the review meetings, like why they haven't detected the cases. The detection and recovery is extremely good. Law and order is exceptionally well maintained here. Crime situation is very good and totally under control. The police officers discharge their duties extremely well. And the government also is very supportive of the police, and then they help the police. They don't interfere in the police of matters, and then they let the police to function independently. Tamil Nadu is a very culturally rich state. I think no other state in India has got the number of temples we have. And no other state in India has got the number of antique idols we have. And there are a lot of collectors abroad and buyers abroad who want to possess these antique idols. So a lot of idols over the years have got smuggled into other countries. And they've been sold at a very huge prices, several crores of rupees, all these idols. And there are several of our idols are still lying in different museums abroad. So one of the important thing is to get those idols back, which have gone out of the country, which have been stolen. We have recently brought back about 12 idols, 8 idols from USA, and we have brought back about 4 idols from Australia. So that is one of the most important functions. We call it Mutual Legal Agreement Treaty, MLAT. We have understanding with the countries which we have this MLAT treaty, MLAT. So we get back those idols. Yesterday we arrested 2 persons, and then we have recovered one idol, which is a high value idol again. It's an antique idol. The experts have opined that that idol may be about more than 500 years old and could probably, the origin is probably Nepal. We still haven't ascertained that because that's still a matter of investigation. We had information that one person from the Sri Lankan refugee camp was trying to sell this idol. He was looking for customers to sell this idol, and he was quoting a price of 25 crores for that. So once we got that tip off, then we started trying to establish contact with him, and that guy was very careful because he knew that police could also be talking to that. So we bought a new SIM card, and then we posed as though we are merchants, we are idol collectors and we want to buy those idols. And then when they got thoroughly convinced that we are not police and we are buyers, we are planning to buy these idols, and then we actually attired them, that we got them dressed in clothes. So all that. So when they got convinced, then they said okay. Then they started quoting the price as 25 crores. And then they brought the idol. When we wanted to examine the idol, they brought the idol before us. And then we swooped at them, we arrested them, and we recovered the idol. So So this is the operation which we did day before yesterday, and yesterday we recovered the items. See, social media is a double-edged sword. You can either, it's like a, or it's like a knife. You can use the social media to develop yourself, build yourself, or social media can harm you. A knife in the hands of a thief can kill someone, or a murderer can kill someone. A knife in the hands of a surgeon can save a life. So people have got addicted to the social media a great deal, and this is causing havoc in the minds of the people. One of the reasons is because the amount of distraction. None of us are able to focus or concentrate on something. So the attention span of the young students, young boys, youth, is coming down. They're not able to concentrate. And then the social media is extremely unrealistic. People only post the best of themselves. So what happens is because they think they're not able to have a lifestyle others are having, and because the people are getting engaged in social media so much that they're missing out on sleep. Sleep is very valuable, very important thing. Social media is causing social isolation. In our days, we used to interact with real people, not on screen, but real people. We used to talk with people with eye contact, go out and play. Now nobody is, because of the social media, people are stuck to the screens. They're disconnected with themselves and the world. They have to pursue a lot of physical activity, because our bodies are made for physical activity. If you don't move your body, then you will have all kind of lifestyle disease like diabetes, heart disease, etc. Yeah, like you were talking, and that police as someone different, and the people are different. I mean, that's the tendency. That's how people are viewing us as well. But actually, who are police? Police are also human beings, and they come from the same society. Most of the police people are warm. They want to help the public. But then there are black sheep in every organization, not just the police. You take any department. But because police people live in glass houses, because everything we do is seen by the public, because we have high amount of interaction with the public. What happens is the bad incidents, and then some of the police brutalities, they get highlighted a great deal, and all the good work which we do gets swept under the carpet. But because of one or two bad examples, the entire police force is maligned, and then they get a bad image and bad name. Most of them have this I can't mindset in their minds. So that simply they have to knock off the T. If you knock off the T from can't, it becomes can. So if they have an I can mindset, and if they really prepare, work hard, I mean, there's no reason why anybody can't succeed in the civil service examination. Anybody and everybody can succeed. Everybody has it in them to succeed in the civil service examination. Like civil service examination is not an exam that is not one exam. There are several exams. You have to go through 3 levels. One is a preliminary level, and even to prepare for the preliminary level, you have to prepare at least for 6 months properly. Then you have the main exams. Once you cross that hurdle of preliminary exam, then you have the main exam. And the main exam is one of the most biggest hurdles. And once you cross the main hurdle, and then you have the interviews. So interview is another hurdle, so 3 hurdles. And the entire process takes 1 year. So you have the prelims in June, July. Then you have the mains in September, October. And then the interviews happen in February, March. And then finally, like you start training only in the month of June. So from June to June, it's a 1-year affair. Maybe the first attempt you write, you get a taste of how it is. And then once you write that, you will have some amount of confidence, and you will have an idea that how you can cross those hurdles. And there are a lot of coaching institutes today. People have become extremely comfortable. Life has become extremely comfortable. Like, they're not engaging their mind in positive pursuits. So when the mind is not engaged in positive pursuits, and then very depressed, they have a tendency to reach for something which will give them a high. So that is one of the reasons why I feel that people take drugs. And then some people have, of course, genetically they are predisposed. Like a lot of people alcoholics, they have got a gene which predisposes them to alcoholism, and similarly some people may be genetically predisposed to drugs where they seek the high. And some people who are extremely depressed and they feel that the only way they can escape depression is this. Most of the drug addicts are like they're escapists. They don't want to face the world. They want to escape. So the only escape they find is taking drugs. If you give a person a training like the training which is given in military, tough training like the Marines undergo the training, or if there's a hardship in life, then I think the people's mind won't go towards drugs. Their mind will get channelized in positive direction. They'll do positive things. They see so much of content in the social media, and most of this content is, like I said, unrealistic content. People showing their bodies, people showing off their Ferraris, people showing off their Lamborghinis, or people visiting Switzerland in a holiday and all that thing. So everybody has a tendency, and they feel that life has been unfair to them. They are not getting these things, and so they get depressed about that, and so they try to find happiness out of this anxiety, depression and sadness which they are feeling. Basically it's the inferiority. They try to find this thing by reaching out for drugs. I think we have to wean away people from drugs by cutting off the supply, number one, by rehabilitating them and channelizing their energies in positive direction. Be the change you see in the world, you want to see in the world. Everybody wants the world to change without changing themselves, and this quote was given by Gandhi. Only if you change, you can inspire others to change, and this has got a ripple effect. This quote basically encapsulates that. That's why this is my favorite quote.
ஆனந்த அனுபவம் அரோமானே.
உங்கள் ஊரில் இருக்கக்கூடிய சமூக பிரச்சனைகள், அசாத்தியமான மனிதர்கள், வாழ்க்கையில் ஜெயிக்கணும்னு நம்பிக்கையோடு போடக்கூடிய மனிதர்கள்,
அப்படிப்பட்ட மனிதர்களை பற்றியும் சமூகம் சார்ந்த பிரச்சனைகளை பற்றியும் நீங்கள் நேரடியாக எங்ககிட்ட சொல்கிறதுக்கான ஒரு வாய்ப்பு. யாருடைய பார்வைக்கு அந்த செய்தி எட்டணுமோ அவங்களுக்கு நாங்கள் கொண்டு போகிறோம். எப்படின்னு கேட்குறீங்களா?
6369116513 அப்படிங்கிற நம்பருக்கு வாட்ஸ்அப் மூலமாக தொடர்பு கொள்ளுங்கள். வாருங்கள், மாற்றத்தை முன்னெடுக்க ஒன்றிணைவோம்.